Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to share some truly chilling stories with you. These are real accounts, experiences people had with, well, something they couldn't explain. These aren't campfire tales. They're actual events that left people deeply shaken, looking for answers they probably never found.
And it's fascinating, how these stories, though they happen in completely different places, different settings, they all touch on this core thing.
Yeah.
Encountering something truly beyond our understanding. It forces people to question what might actually be out there, lurking in the shadows.
Absolutely. So let's get straight into the first one. Picture this. A camping trip. You've got the narrator, his girlfriend Alicia, his best friend Rodney, and Rodney's girlfriend Amanda. They found this great spot right by a big lake, deep woods all around. Pretty easy to get to, apparently. They roll up just as the sun's going down, that perfect orange sky reflecting on the water. Look totally calm.
Sounds idyllic, almost too perfect.
Right. So they're setting up the tent, but it's still warm. That orange light's still kind of shimmering on the lake. Amanda's like, let's go for a swim. Alicia and Amanda were really keen, waded right in, saying how nice the water felt. The narrator, he stayed back, trying to get a campfire going, but wasn't having much luck. Rodney eventually took over. So the narrator's watching Rodney messing with the fire, and then suddenly just screaming from the water.
Oh no.
It was Alicia, flailing. Amanda looked totally confused, just like the guys. Then Alicia goes under, just for a few seconds, but terrifying seconds. Amanda starts screaming, she's drowning! So the narrator just dives in, right? Races out to her. But here's the weird thing. When he gets there, the water's only like waist deep.
Waist deep.
Yeah, he sees her arms still thrashing above the water, splashing like crazy. He grabs her, pulls her up.
That immediate feeling of something being wrong, not just drowning in shallow water.
Exactly. He's yelling, what the hell happened? But Alicia, she doesn't say anything at first. He just scrambled, like bolts back towards the camp, gasping for air. Then halfway there, she spins around and just yells, get out of the water! Yeah. Amanda and the narrator just look at each other, totally confused, and start heading out of the lake themselves.
And that's when it happens to him.
That's when it happens. As he starts moving, something grabs his ankle. Hard, like incredibly strong, trying to pull him down. And there was this sharp, piercing feeling. He said it felt like it was cutting right into his ankle.
Cutting, not just grabbing.
Cutting. He yelled out, obviously panicked, and just started kicking with his other leg as hard as he could until whatever it was let go. They scrambled back to the camp. Alicia's already there, pressing down on her ankle. Looks like a fresh wound. The narrator sits down, checks his own ankle, and there's this gash. Deep, he said, but small on the right side. Just pouring blood.
Wow. Okay, so matching wounds, essentially.
Yeah.
And the description, sharp-piercing feeling, the gash. That's very specific.
Definitely. So they patch themselves up, trying to figure out what on earth just happened. He suggests maybe an eel.
Possible, but the cutting sensation.
Rodney wasn't buying it either. He's like, do eels even live in lakes like this? And then Alicia says the thing that really freaked the narrator out. She insisted it felt more like a claw.
A claw, that changes everything. That detail, combined with the gash, it really points away from known lake creatures.
Totally. Chills went right through them. But, they decided to stay, rationalized it maybe. Whatever it was in the water, they were on land.
Yeah.
What else could happen? Big glass words, right?
Oh, boy.
So by now, it's pitch black. Just the campfire light. They've had a couple of beers, just trying to relax, talk about normal stuff, but, occasionally mentioning that thing in the water. Everything's quiet for a bit then. Splash. Out on the lake, they all whip their heads around, staring out at the black water. Probably just a fish, someone says. They try to go back to their conversation. Then another splash. But this one sounded different, bigger. He described it like the sound a person makes walking through waist-deep water.
That is unsettling. The sound of deliberate movement.
Yeah. The girls are getting spooked, urging the guys to check it out. So Rodney and the narrator, they grab flashlights, head down to the edge of the lake. They can still hear these splashing noises. They shine their lights out, scanning the surface. It's dead calm otherwise. Then Rodney just stops and whispers, what is that? The narrator swings his light over. And there's something. An object, he thought at first, but then he realizes it looks like a head. Yeah, the head of some kind of creature?
Yeah.
Definitely not something you'd expect to find in a lake. Just sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
And they could see the reflection of its eyes in their flashlight beams.
Oh, wow.
It was looking right at them.
Yeah.
Then it moved, sort of rose up a bit higher out of the water, made another splashing noise.
Yeah.
And that was it. They just screamed, both of them. Yelled back to the girls. Rodney had the presence of mind to yell, grab your important stuff and go.
Smart move.
Yeah, really smart. The narrator grabbed his wallet, keys, phone left the tent, the coolers, everything else. They just booked it down the trail to the car, threw their stuff in, and peeled out of there. The next day, he went back with his dad to get the gear.
And the campsite.
Destroyed. Utterly destroyed. Tents shredded to ribbons, coolers scratched all over, thrown around the site. He told his dad everything, showed him the gash on his ankle, asked him, what could possibly do this. His dad was just baffled. Said he had no earthly idea. They packed up what was left and got out fast. Never went back to that lake.
That progression is just chilling.
Right.
From the unseen grab and the specific wounds to the visual confirmation of something non-aquatic, almost humanoid looking, and then the sheer destructive force on land afterward. What known animal attacks underwater with a claw, leaves a gash, and then shreds tents on the shore? It doesn't fit any standard profile.
Not at all. It makes you wonder, what was that thing? Let's shift gears now. Move east to Long Island, New York. Another unsettling story, this time from a guy living alone right next to a nature preserve. He had 2 German shepherds, Tate and Moose. So picture this. 3 nights straight, middle of the night, his dogs just go nuts, barking like crazy at the back door. First night, he gets up, peeks through the window, sees nothing, goes back to bed. Second night, same thing. This time he actually goes out onto the patio, looks around, still nothing. Dogs eventually calm down. Third night, it happens again. Dogs are going wild. He decides, okay, that's it. Someone or something is definitely creeping around out there. He's going to find out what.
The dog sensing something consistently is a strong indicator. They're often the first to react.
Right, so he puts Tate, one of the shepherds, on a leash, takes him out of the backyard. But weirdly, Tate seems calmer outside now, not barking. He walks Tate around the yard, near the tree line bordering the preserve, hoping the dog will pick up a scent, figure out what's been setting them off. Then, right by the trees, Tate starts up again, pulling hard on the leash and barking right into the woods. It's dark, obviously, so the narrator can't see much in there. He figures, okay, maybe someone is trespassing. Best way to scare them off. Let the dog lead.
A natural reaction, but potentially dangerous when you don't know what you're dealing with.
Definitely. Tate keeps pulling, barking, leading him deeper into the woods. The narrator's having trouble keeping up, getting winded. Tate seems totally focused on something ahead. Then Tate just stops. Stops pulling, stops barking, just stands there. Ears flat back, like he's defensive, but also scared. Staring straight ahead into the darkness.
That sudden shift from aggression to fear in the dog is telling.
Yeah, it spooked the narrator, too. He's peering into the dark, trying to see what Tate sees. Nothing visible. Then, crack. A stick snaps. Or a small branch. Just a little way ahead of them.
Confirmation. Something's there.
Exactly. So he decides to call out, whoever's out there, you're trespassing. Get off my property, or I'm calling the cops, or letting the dog loose. Something like that. Silence. No answer. Nothing. Then, another crunch. A twig breaking underfoot. Closer now. Maybe like 10 yards away.
It's not backing down.
Nope. So he decides, okay, time to go. Whistles for Tate, turns around, heads back towards the house. But Tate keeps looking back, like every few seconds. The narrator has to keep pulling him along. Then he hears it. The definite footstep close behind them.
Oh, it's following them?
Seems like it. Tate starts growling again, barking, trying to turn back. And that's when the narrator really starts to feel the fear kick in. He realizes he's out here in the dark woods, no phone, no flashlight, just him and Tate. And then comes this sound. He said it was just unexplainable. A weird clicking noise mixed with this low humming, almost like a giant buck makes, but different. Weirder.
Clicking and humming. That's a very unusual combination of sounds for wildlife. Often reported in these kinds of encounters, though.
Tate goes absolutely nuts again, barking, lunging. The narrator's holding him back, trying to see where Tate's focused. And finally, he sees something. A pair of glowing eyes.
Ah, the eye shine. Common element.
But here's the thing. The eyes were set really high off the ground. Way too high for a cat or a raccoon or even a deer, he thought.
Height is a critical detail. Suggests something tall, possibly bipedal.
He didn't stick around to analyze. He just started running. Back towards the house. Could see the patio light filtering through the trees now. He bursts out of the tree line into his own backyard, gets Tate through the back door, slams it shut. Then, heart pounding, he turns back, looks towards the woods at the edge of his yard, just listening, watching. Then he hears a rustle in a bush near the tree line. Looks over and sees it. A figure, standing just inside the woods, partially lit by his patio light. He said it had the shape, sort of like a person, a humanoid shape. But it was crouched down low, kind of hiding behind a bush.
Crouched, hiding. Interesting behavior.
And it had really long arms, like disproportionately long compared to its body. And the face. He couldn't make out features, but the lower half just looked black, like a huge gaping mouth.
Long arms, gaping mouth. Those details echo other cryptid reports, sometimes associated with crawler-type entities or variations of dogman lore.
He just knew, looking at it, it wasn't human. Couldn't be. He backed away from the door, went inside, locked everything, shut all the blinds, took the dogs upstairs with him. He actually called the police, reported an unidentified creature in the preserve, tried to describe it. The person on the phone basically just told him to call back if it actually came onto his private property.
Standard procedure, unfortunately. Unless there's an immediate actionable threat on the property itself, there's often little they can do, especially for such an unusual report.
Yeah, no one came out. He kept the dogs in his room after that. Thankfully, he said, he hasn't seen anything like it since.
It's like a slow burn psychological thriller, isn't it? The sounds, the dog's reactions building suspense, then the brief, terrifying visual, the clicking and humming, the high-set eyes, the long arms, the gaping mouth. Those specific strange details make it particularly compelling. It really challenges our categories of known animals.
It really does. Okay, for our final story tonight, we're heading down to Chapel Hill, Tennessee. A couple living in their farmhouse for over 15 years. Nice, quiet life. Kids grown and gone. Nothing weird ever happened there. Until February 2019. First night, the wife wakes him up, shakes him awake, says, "I heard something outside the window." So he does the husbandly duty right. Gets up, walks over, lifts the window, pokes his head out. It's chilly, doesn't see anything. Shuts the window, tells her it's probably nothing. They get back into bed, trying to settle down, and then click. A click, yeah, like a sharp quick click, right at the window glass. Made them both sit bolt upright.
That sounds deliberate, not just wind or an animal bumping it.
That's what they thought. His wife, he says she's not easily scared, but she grabbed his arm, really worried. Said, "Get the shotgun, go see who's out there." He tried to calm her down, checked the window again, and this time he sees it. A small scratch on the outside of the glass.
A scratch. Okay, physical evidence now.
He showed his wife. She was stunned. Oh my, what could have done that? They figured. Maybe some big animal. A branch. They didn't know. Next morning he goes out, checks all around the window. No footprints in the dirt, nothing seemed disturbed. Weird, but they kind of let it go. Until the next night.
It came back.
It came back.
Yeah.
This night was different. Rainy. Warmer for February. They're tucked in bed again. And they hear a sound over the rain. A scraping noise. Muffled, because it's outside. But definitely scraping. It seemed to move closer to the window. Then stop. Right outside the window.
Scraping on the house itself.
Sounds like it. He and his wife just look at each other. She didn't even need to say anything this time. He grabbed the shotgun from under the bed, threw on his raincoat, and ran outside. Fast as he could. His wife dimmed the bedroom light so he could see better. And right there, on the vinyl siding next to the window, huge scrapes. He said they looked exactly like claw marks.
Claw marks. Okay, this is escalating significantly. From a small scratch on the glass to large claw marks on the siding. That indicates real force and intent.
Big time. Then he looked down. The rain was starting to wash things away, but in the mud, right by the window, footprints. Big footprints, he said. They stopped right under the window and then turned back towards the woods.
What kind of footprints?
He said they definitely weren't boots or shoes, and not like any animal he knew. They looked like huge feet, but with claws on the ends.
Claws on the footprints, too.
Yeah. He's thinking, okay, they don't have black bears around here, never seen one in 15 years. This makes zero sense. And suddenly, standing out there in the rain with his shotgun, he felt really, really unsafe.
I don't blame him. Huge quad footprints and claw marks on the house. That's terrifying evidence.
He hurried back inside, told his wife, "Look, there's some big animal out there. Just stay inside, we'll be safe." He didn't have blinds, never thought they needed them out there. All he could do was try to get some sleep.
The lack of blinds becomes quite significant later, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the third night. This is where it gets truly terrifying. He wakes up, middle of the night, around 3 a.m. Wife's still asleep. He sits up. Maybe he heard something, maybe just felt someone was off. He realizes the room feels cold, chilly. He looks towards the window, and it's open.
It got the window open.
It got the window open, but that wasn't even the first thing he registered. The first thing he saw was the head.
No.
Leaning through the open window into their bedroom. He tried to describe it. Said it was inhuman. Just the size and shape of it. Bigger than any animal head he could imagine. Too dark, happened too fast to see features clearly. Just big and inhuman and in his bedroom.
Unbelievable, the combination of the attempts.
He just screamed. let out this huge scream, the kind he hadn't made in decades. He immediately dives for the shotgun under the bed, but by the time he got his hands on it, looked back up, the thing in the window was gone.
Vanished that quickly.
Just gone. His wife woke up screaming from his scream. He scrambled to the window, slammed it shut, twisted the lock, told his wife, "We're sleeping in our son's old room tonight."
Yeah.
And believe it or not, according to his account, almost a year later, whatever it was, it never came back after that night.
3 nights. Escalating each time. Scratch, claw marks, and footprints, then actually opening the window and leaning in.
Yeah, 3 straight days it came back, and the third night, it was halfway into their room.
That progression is what makes this account so deeply disturbing. The clear physical evidence, the scratch, the claw marks, the very specific footprints, combined with the escalating intrusion attempts, culminating in that final terrifying moment, the inhuman head. It paints a picture of something large, powerful, persistent, and intelligent enough to manipulate a window. The question is just, why? What was its goal?
Right. Okay, so thinking about these 3 stories, different places, different circumstances, right? A lake, woods near a suburb, a remote farmhouse. But you hear these common threads, don't you?
Absolutely. You've got unexplained physical evidence left behind. In multiple cases, the gashes, the destroyed campsite, the scratches, the claw marks, those distinct footprints.
And the sounds. The weird splashes, the clicking and humming, the scraping. Sounds that don't quite fit known animals.
And then the sightings themselves, creatures that just don't match anything in the standard biology books. Whether it's a head rising from a lake, unnaturally tall glowing eyes in the woods, or an inhuman head leaning through a window.
It really makes you wonder, these people weren't looking for this stuff, it found them. It disrupted their sense of safety, their understanding of the world around them.
Exactly, and that's what's so potent about these accounts. They chip away at our sense of a known, predictable world. They suggest that maybe, just maybe, the boundaries aren't as clear as we think. That there might be things coexisting with us, operating just outside our normal perception. So the question these stories leave us with, and maybe leave you with, is what if these aren't just anomalies? What if they're glimpses, however rare and unsettling, into a reality that's much stranger than we typically acknowledge? What else might be out there, just beyond the edge of the map, beyond the beam of the flashlight?
A really unsettling thought to end on. And that does bring us to the end of sharing these stories today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you joining us. If you want to hear more strange accounts and unsettling explorations, be sure to follow the show. We're always looking for fascinating stories to share. And hey, if you enjoyed this, please do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. It really helps us out. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and try to keep an open mind, even about what might be lurking outside your window. Goodbye for now.